So let's talk about space. Where in your life have you created space for lack and limitations? And where in your life have you created space for potential and possibilities? And what does that look like to you? If we are the mind, our beliefs, our thoughts, and the spaces we surround ourselves with, the conversations we have, the relationships we keep. If everything is set into the space of lack and limitations, then there is no room for anything else. There's no room for possibilities. There's no room for potentiality. There is this understanding that comes from this place of neutrality. And neutrality, that comes from a place of 0 point. We come into the space of the fertile void, where there is no thing and everything, all at the same time. So are you looking at the glass half full, or is it half empty? Even having a belief of looking half full or half empty will bring forth different energies. The truth is, there's no rightness or wrongness in either of them. And at the same time, what are you creating space for? Because it's not that the glass is half full or half empty, it's actually neither. We get to choose what it is. It's about perspective. It's about our point of view and what we are choosing. Because it's in that choosing that we will then bring forward a frequency of it. I want you to bring up in the mind your biggest struggle. Did you visit the glass half full or half empty? You went to the place of struggle. You automatically drew on what's not working, drew on that place of struggle, that energy. So what is it about full or empty, working or not working? What if it comes from a place of neutrality and a perspective of what we want to call forward? A point of view. If we are calling forward from a space of lack and limitations, or a space of past conditioning, like money doesn't grow on trees, then that's the space we create from, within us, around us, for us, and through us. So regardless of what you're choosing, whether it's the lack and limitations or the potential and possibilities, or somewhere just in between, that is the space of your divine frequency. But if we don't ever create space for something more or something better, then it cannot come into our lives unless we create the space. And in order to create space, we must make room for it to show up. You have to be willing to release something. Releasing the block, releasing the resistance, releasing the emotion, whatever it may look like to you. You have to make space for something else to come in. So what does that bring up for you? Endless possibilities or feelings of failure? Where are we holding on to lack? And where are we holding on to limitations? Where are we not letting go of people, of networking, relationships? Because it's in the letting go that we let in. We let go to let in. It's the perception or the perspective of what we are choosing. And as humans, our biggest struggle is in the letting go. Sometimes it's the idea. Sometimes it's a letting go of a person. Sometimes it's an emotion. But where is it that we need to clear? Whether it's energetically in your physical world, or we cling to something so tight, holding it within our grasp, that we're not willing to release it. And if we're not willing to release it, then there's no space for what we wish to reach out and bring forward. So what if you chose to let go? What if you fell down that slippery slope? What if falling apart meant you were falling back together? What if you broke down to break through? So let's take a look today at what you're really hanging on to. What you're willing to let go in order to let in. Because we release to receive. So I invite you to soften down. Close the eyes and let's begin to bring in your breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And as you inhale, begin to feel into your spine. It begins to lengthen, becoming taller, expanding through the top of the head and down through the bottoms of the feet. And notice when you're doing this expanding how you are creating space within your body. Space for the breath, space for the fluid, space for the organs, the tissues, space for your muscles. Every time we are doing in our lives, there's this physical association with contraction. And what is contraction? It's a tightening. It's a becoming small. We become smaller. We hone. We rake it in. We tighten and we become small. And we constrict. And all of those things are the opposite of creating space. They are the opposite of expansion. So right now, give yourself permission. Room to grow and room to breathe. Claiming your space in your body, out of your body, in your home. And for those that do not live alone, where there's no space or sanctuary for you, where you feel you've been run over, claim your space. Claim your space in your jobs. Claim your space anywhere you feel you've had to step back, where you feel you've had to step into a box, where you've had to shrink. Claim your space where you feel as though you're just a number or a body. Claim your space in your relationships, where you feel as though you've had to shrink or step down, or you became invisible, or you hid. Claim your space. Claim your space within this container, as a mother, as a sister, as a healer, as a medicine keeper, as a daughter, as a partner, and as a creator of your own reality. And as you begin to claim that space, deepen into your breath. Deepen into your space. Deepen that breath into your diaphragm, into your perineum, and out through the bottoms of your feet. Deepen that breath to what lies beneath you, into your foundation, the earth, into that fertile soil, that space of nothing and everything. Give yourself permission to be here, to be there, to be in your body, to take up space, expanding as big and expansive as you desire. And take an inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth with an audible sigh. Again, inhale, exhale, sigh. And I'd like you to take as many of these cleansing breaths as you need to, with each breath going a little deeper, filling up your lungs and exhaling fully with a deeper sigh. And again, drawing it into the belly, filling up the muscles, the cells widening and expanding with each breath. Allowing every cycle of that breath to lengthen and to soften. Giving the body permission to rest and relax. And at this time, I'm going to call forward any of your blocks, any of your barriers, any of your protection mechanisms, any anxiety, anything at all that may be seen or interpreted as negative. And let's begin to acknowledge it. Acknowledge that nervousness and anxiety. And let's ask the body to begin the process of removing it. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. On all levels, all layers, and all lifetimes, barriers down. And take a nice deep breath in, exhale, sigh. And next, I want you to bring focus into the center of the chest, into your heart space. Draw that breath into that space and ask the heart if it gives permission today to be healed by its own energy. And heart, I need you to activate those two bridges. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale with a sigh. Spirit and I are one, and we work together as a team. It is my intention to be a clear and neutral channel for the high self and for your spirit today. And how long will it take me to work? Thank you. And how long will it take my high self to work? Thank you. And how long will it take to prep this group to work? And we're prepped to work. Are we clear? So please clear and remove any and all blocking programs, any openings, interferences, and negative energy. Permanently seal all openings, cracks, portals, and fill with love and golden light. Please remove any links in our high self community chains, and please clear and remove, elevate, and educate all your spiritual committees, including the high self, to the highest level of consciousness. Please reassign any committee members who are not ready, willing, and able to support 100% positive and 0% negative change. And please update and download all your spiritual committees with new education, knowledge, truth, wisdom, understanding, light, and the potentials in one universe, as well as the entire SRT system. Provide them with the intellect required to clear all negative programs and establish them with a new plan that's based on everything positive. Please reduce the size of your spiritual committees to the minimum size for the maximum effect, clearing all bodies of negative programming and reducing all portals and gateways down to one. Please clear all your spiritual committees serving of any and all programs that you created with your spirit, including replications, mirroring images, and rebuilding. And please reduce my ego to the minimum level required to facilitate this clearing, more than 0 and not to exceed 3%. Suspend all judgment and keep us 100% neutral. Please clear and remove any extra souls, any addictions to extra souls, and set up a triple layer of protection around each and every one of us, as well as our spiritual committees and anyone in the vicinity that would be in your presence while doing this clearing work. Allow myself and the committees and all the souls that are being cleared to only speak through this pendulum today. And is this clearing done? Are we clear to work? And the answer is yes. And do I have permission to work with everyone in this space? And who are we working with? We're working with the high self, and all our spiritual committees are at the highest level of consciousness based on chart 3, and the answer is yes. And is the high self downloaded, assimilated, and working with the highest levels of wisdom, knowledge, light, understanding, the potential in one universe? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to ask that we update everyone's high self with new information, truth, light, wisdom, understanding, and the potentials in one universe, as well as and including the SRT system. And as you begin to update, I'm going to ask that any members that are sitting on your high self community chains that aren't ready and willing and able to move forward with you to the next level of consciousness, to take that quantum leap forward to that next phase of your healing and that next level of your frequency, I'm going to ask that we reassign them to another soul on your soul committee so that they may serve there. And I'm going to ask that any new members that are coming in and joining and taking space on your high committees, I ask that they have the right and perfect intellect to clear all negative programming and activate all levels of healing, as well as establish a new frequency and establish a new plan that's based on everything positive to the greatest and highest good in this lifetime, here and now, supporting everything positive and 0% negative change for each and every one of you at this time. And again, I'm going to ask if our high self and our high self communities are now downloaded and assimilated to the highest level of knowledge, understanding, wisdom, truth, including the entire star system. And I'm getting the answer is yes again. And are all bodies clear of negative programming? We're at 100%. And what percent of neutrality? We're at 100%. Do we have any extra souls that are in this room? No. And do I have permission to work with everybody in this space? And the answer is yes. So at this time, I'm going to ask for a real-time clearing. Clearing anything and everything for you and myself at this time. And as this real-time clearing is moving to you and through you, I want to encourage you to notice any density, any stagnancy, any tiredness that may come up. You may notice you want to breathe slightly different. Maybe you want to breathe deeper into the body, deeper into your belly. I want to encourage you that no matter where you are, let it happen. Release it. And remember that what we don't allow to release, whatever we begin to cling to, will therefore remain. So if you're holding back on yawns or coughing or movement of the body, whatever it is that might be stifling down is whatever you're denying. It will not be cleared, and it will not be released to this full expression. And that breath is a powerful example of this. I'm going to ask that this real-time clearing to clear all and everything without research at this time, I'm going to ask you to bring yourself back to your breath, to that life force, that prana that moves in and out of the body, without you consciously drawing awareness to it, consciously controlling it. Bring focus to the flow and its movement. It flows with ease and grace and fluidity in and out of your body. Always flowing, always there. Moving in and out of your space. And that breath is one of the easiest and greatest tools for you. Because if you draw it in even more, you can expand into your light, into your space, into your vessel. And when you release it, you soften, softening into your space. Through today's clearing, I'm going to ask that we clear anywhere and everywhere that we have created space for lack and limitations, where we've restricted our space, where we've created resistance. To clear anywhere we're not ready to go, to let go of, or willing to let go of, or to release. Whether this is in the form of a thought, whether this is a belief, whether this is a situation, a relationship, whether this is a form of miscongruency or misaligned with who we are in this very moment. To clear anything that is keeping us from letting go so that we can let in. And thank you. Is that done? Yes. And where are we going first? We're going to go into power and control. Is it power or control? It's power. So here we go once again. So is it an energy or a program? It's a program, and it can be cleared without research at this time. So we're going to head into the Akashic Records. This program was established in the Bardos, and it has these past life roots. There are two characters in this program, and who's the first character? The first character is an ex-lover. And who's the second character? The second character is a father. And what type of father was he? He was a head monk. And was the ex-lover male or female? And there's some interference that's come into this room, into the space today. So I'm going to ask again, who are we working with? We're working with the high self. So what we have here are some beings of light, some guardians or guides that have chose to come in. So I'm going to ask that we clear any and all blocks from these beings of light, these guardians, these star guides, the councils of seven, the ascending masters, anywhere and everywhere that is keeping us from working with the high self. What I want them to know that we are only interested in working with the highest light and the highest self. So please clear any of these beings of light, the guardians, these ancestors, the highest level of consciousness in chart 3, and please reassign these beings to the right and perfect place at the highest level of consciousness at this time. And take a nice deep breath in here. Exhale, sigh. And again, breathe in. Exhale, sigh. And one more time, breathe in. Exhale, sigh. So when these beings of light come in, what they represent is emotional and mental support. So what is coming in is the idea of safety. These beings of light are stepping in because they are committed to their job to keep us safe. But safety is not necessary to our highest good. Safety is what we know and what we're comfortable with. It's sometimes to our highest good, yes, but not always. So anywhere and everywhere that you have ever believed that you need to hire guides, guards, councils, star beings, angels of light to keep you safe, even if it's a detriment to yourself, will be destroyed and uncreated on every level, every layer, and every lifetime. It will be returned to whence it came, never to return to you, to your mind, your fields, your body, or your emotional state ever again. And breathe that in. Be willing to release here. Be willing to release or let go of what keeps you safe. Whether this is the form of a belief, a thought, an energy, an emotion, a person, a guide, whatever that may be. Can you have the faith that you will always be safe without having to build an illusion around you? Does that mean that bad things will never happen? No. We live in a world of duality and contrast. That is our human experience. But what are these beliefs protecting you from? What are your beliefs around protection? What do you need to be protected from? Is it the world itself, the systems, the structures? Protection from being hurt? Protection from each other? Or is it protection from yourself? So what happens when you begin to start to peel back the layers of illusion, of safety, of protection? What lies beneath that? Let go to let in. We let go to let in. We let go to let in. And thank you. Is that done? I'm getting a yes. No. So let's go back to this power program. Can it be cleared without research at this time? So please clear this program, root, trunk, and seed, clearing them out of all levels, all layers, all minds, all fields, all compartments, clearing them out of all your 13 bodies, all your spiritual committees, right back to the heart of your spirit. And as we ask this to be cleared, any and all of your themes, any of your challenges that you have connected to or associated with the program of power, clearing them out, root, trunk, and seed. So there's this old archaic belief about who we are as spiritual beings. Where do you give your power away? Where do you give your power away? To your spiritual teams, to your guides? Do you believe you have to sacrifice and suffer in order to have a spiritual journey or a spiritual life? Where do you give your power away? Where do you protect yourself by sheltering down and denying what's rightfully yours? Your gifts, your talents. What do you need to reclaim right now in this moment? Do you give your power back to keep yourself safe? Do you give your power back by saying, there's no more need for me to be protected because there's simply nothing to be protected from? Can you have this unwavering faith rather than trust? Because trust is built on a series of experiences that we draw evidence from. And in this physical world and within us, the person we break trust with the most is ourselves. And oftentimes, no one knows it happens, only us. But faith is much deeper. It's within our bones, it's in the pit of our stomach. And faith sits at the portal of the heart. Faith is a knowing and not a giving of power away. It's a knowing who you are and your connection, whatever honorific you choose to use, whether it's creator, spirit, soul, source, God, infinity, universe. Faith is a belief in who you are that does not require any proof or proving. It simply is. It simply is. And thank you. Is that done? Is there anything else on this chart? And where are we going next? We're going to go into responsibilities. Is it an energy or a program? It's an energy. So, and it can be cleared without research at this time. So please clear any and all of the negative motivations, any reasons for harm, any incongruency or disconnect that we may feel to the energy of responsibility, root, trunk, and seed. Clear out of all levels, all layers, all minds, all fields, all compartments, clear out all your 13 bodies, all your spiritual committees, right back to the heart of your spirit. And as these motivations, these detachments, these discordant energies, these ideas, beliefs, or responsibility are clearing, I'm going to ask that we begin to 0 point them so we can have crystal clear clarity. So we can see what we need to be responsible for and where we need to be responsible. So what's coming in is first is where are we not willing to take responsibility, like radical responsibility? Where are we keeping these blinders on? Where do we deny? Where do we pretend? Where do we say yes to lies that we bought and sold? Where do we allow ourselves to move through our world with the shade of those rose-colored glasses on? Is that from safety and protection, or is that with ease? I'm going to do this now because it's easy. It's what I know. This is my comfort. And where are we taking responsibility for things we shouldn't be responsible for? Where are we stepping in to take responsibility for others who aren't taking responsibility for themselves? Because what happens is it begins to drain and splinter our own energy fields. And we wonder why we're so tired. Where are we denying responsibility for who we really are? For our own divine frequencies, our own divine currency. Moving in us and through us. Our thoughts. Through the impact, we begin to create these ripple effects. It's fascinating. These areas are fascinating in our lives. We take responsibility for other people, to protect them, to save them, to keep them comfortable, because it's our role, it's what we should do. Yet on the other side, we feel these innate gifts within us, these things that we're really mean to share. And we deny pieces of that aspect of ourselves. What if I'm wrong? What if people judge me? It's an interesting dance that we take here. We also cling to responsibility, whether or not it's our responsibility or not. We cling to it in some way because it allows us to be in control. Control. And thank you. Is that done? Where are we going next? We're going into willingness to release old beliefs. And it can be cleared without research at this time. So please clear anywhere and everywhere that you are not willing to release and let go of old beliefs. Clearing out root, trunk, and seed. Clearing them out of all 13 bodies, all your spiritual committees, right back to the heart of your spirit. And I'm going to ask that we begin to clear physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and supramentally, all of it. Because perhaps that we don't say that we're not saying no, and that we're hanging on to those old beliefs because it's a fear of what else would come in. Because maybe there's a slight fear within you that it may be too big for you to hold. Because if you let go and you let in, there may be a rejection, or there may be judgment, there may be loss. Is it possible that you're resisting releasing all these old beliefs? Because we're choosing to be in control, choosing a payoff. And does that payoff really serve us? And are we really taking responsibility for ourselves as long as we're willing to hold on? Where would you be and what could you receive if you released it all? If you clung to nothing and to no thing? And thank you. Is that done? Yes. And where are we going next? We're going to go into mop-up. So please clear 100% of the 100% of the items on the mop-up list, including all the stats. And at this time, I'm going to deepen, invite you to deepen into the breath and come back into the body. And what percentage of the items in the mop-up list have been complete? We're at 100%. And has brain restructuring been complete? The answer is yes. And all pre-programmed illnesses, Alzheimer's, dementia, accidents been cleared? Yes. And does your spirit agree that, and my spirit agree that this has been cleared? Yes. And does your high self and my high self agree that this has been cleared? And the answer is yes. And are there any other programs coming up at this time for it to be cleared? And the answer is no. And are we clear to the highest level of consciousness? The answer is yes. So at this point, I'd like to call in the angels of light to help you integrate this clearing for myself and for you. Call forth your guidance teams, your soul families, your ancestors, your star families, any new members that are taking place, of any old ones that you released. I welcome them in to support and assist you in divine timing for ourselves and for each other. And so it is. And take an inhale, exhale, sigh. Again, inhale, exhale, sigh. And at this time, I'd like to fully call you back into the body. Begin to gently awaken into your space. Take your time. As you notice how you feel. Notice how you feel coming back into this space.